Hello everyone. So I'm just gonna do a quick demo on how to use the sweep tool. So I'll have a look here. So this is what we're doing today. So this is a very nice sweep tool functionality, but it's following a curve. So if we go here with the curve functionality, which is control the vertices there, you are able to tweak this as well to the side as well. But I recommend for your case here, you should do this with a rig. But I'll give you some steps on how to do that. But it is essentially following the. If we hide this for a second, there, it is following the contour of this. So if for whatever reason you want to change this, it will change as well the silhouette of this as well. So you can do adjustments with this too if you need. Like say for example, if you want to flatten this area here for whatever reason, it's gonna do that as well. Well, it's only going to do it for one side there. So I'll show you this from the very beginning. So I'm just gonna do a new file. Okay. So I recommend that always put in a little man so we can see the scale on what's happening there. Gonna move the little man away. And the first thing that we should do is do a cylinder. Make the cylinder nice and big, but I'm gonna press T first to make the number subdivisions. I'm gonna start with 6, and then after that I'm gonna try to figure out with the symmetry how it's moving around. Now I'm just gonna, it's up to you how many sides you want to do, but I've with mine I've done 3 sides. I do have a technique. Say that I'm gonna move this like yay, like this far. Okay, but I want to make sure that I've got the right symmetry. So one thing that I can do is to create an empty group by having nothing selected, Control G. You have now put the cylinder inside of here. And if you want to repeat this 3 times, so if you check the calculator, you divide what 360 divided by 3, you get 120. So by selecting this null there, you can just go edit, duplicate special. And I've already got this in here because I just did it. But you just need to rotate in the Y value 120 degrees. Number copy twice, 2 copies, because we already got the 1. And then if you type in instance, new group, what's going to happen is any changes that you do to this one cylinder is going to apply that change to all the other cylinders in the same line of symmetry. So this is a great way to do things with symmetry if you have to. So we're gonna go duplicate special, and now if I select anything with this fella here, so even if I move this guy, it's going to follow this symmetry perfectly on this fella here. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna move that yay, so it becomes perfect. And we want to make sure that, and this is just to make sure that it's mirror with a perfect symmetry. I'm gonna delete that face. Alright. And now I'm just gonna merge this all together. Okay, or I could just delete this now that I know that's perfectly in the symmetry there, with the pivot point there with holding down D and then X. So it rotates that way. And now I can just do the same with that, but instead of a duplicate special, instead of being instant as a copy, and just do a number of copies, whatever, apply. And now I'm just gonna combine them. So the point that I'm doing this is so I can create a curve that's exactly to those parameters with it. So I'm just gonna combine this now, go in vertices mode. I'm gonna weld those places there, so I'm just gonna go merge this, do a sanity check to see if those got actually merged. They haven't. Why haven't you? I'll just do it by hand. Just select those, combine them to weld them. Press G to repeat the command, so that's going merge vertices like that. Now I'm gonna do again another check to see if that's being welded with all of those. Always do a sanity check with this kind of stuff. Cool. Now I'm just gonna delete. Just gonna delete these faces there because we don't need those. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because we are just using that as a profile. One thing that I've done is to make sure that this is nice, because you might find this shape's a little bit too low poly. I've done two things. One, I selected these guys here, and I went, I've done a bevel like this, just with two edges, like yay much, and that's to make that a bit sharp. And then the next part that I've done is subdivide it, right? It doesn't matter if you do this before or after, it's up to you, but I found it's a bit easier to do this way. So the next part is I do a smooth. Okay. And that's enough polish for your creature. Okay, now the next part is, now that we've got that silhouette, well, not silhouette, like the profile for your plant. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to select these edges there, and I'm going to convert this into a curve. To do that conversion, you have to go inside of modify, convert, and then you go to polygon edges to curve. However, click on the dialog to change that, because I think cubic is the one on default. You need to change that on linear, because otherwise it's going to be very smooth. And then I press apply. All right, so now we have that profile. You should delete the history, because now if you change that, the other one's going to be changed as well. So select the curve, delete the history, and now this is safe to delete if you want, or do whatever. So we got this guy here. We got the spinner. Woo! And now what we're going to do next is we're going to create a curve. If you want to rig your character, or if you want to do things, I recommend that you make it straight. So then when you do the bones, it's going to be a lot easier. But just for fun, I'm going to make it funky dunky. So I'm just going to go here. And this is like the line that's going to follow with our profile. So I'm going to click in here. And I'm going to start making that line. So I'm just going to go like that, like this, and then out. Like something like that maybe. I might make this a little bit straight because it's a little bit too funky dunky. Alright, maybe something like that. Sure. Alright, and here in the bottom, I will mind that if that's a bit straighter. Okay. So, alright, so we've done this line now. The next part is we need to make a sweep. So for the sweep, and oh, this is very tiny. Let's change the sizes of this a little bit. So let's make this a little bit bigger. And let's make this guy a little bit bigger as well. So let's say if this is this big, yay big, and you're gonna kill it or plant it, whatever. I don't know what size this has to be. Alright, and I'm gonna just delete the history and freeze it, delete the history and freeze it, just to make sure we're doing this all right. So next is you select this line here. Inside of polymodeling, you will find this sweep mesh. If you click on that while you've got the curve selected, it's just going to make a tube. What you need to do is press on here, is you press on custom, and then it's gonna say, oh, what do you want to select? I'm just selecting the curve object. I know you can do all these other three options. I've never bothered with those. I always use the same method, so I always use with the curve, but hey, apparently there's a poly edge or poly face, so you can use those too if you like, but I'm not too sure how they'll work. So I'm gonna go select Okay, so you see now it's created that thing. For some reason it's offset, but that's fine. So now that we've got this, it has created that tube. It looks like toothpaste now. What I recommend that you do next is you go inside of the sweep shape settings on the corner there. And this is where you can change your profile to make it thinner, to make it bigger. This is the twist. But let's say that you want to do like 5 twists, for example. That's a bit too crazy. 4, maybe 3, something like that. But yeah, be careful with the poly count. So I might actually do a little bit less precision. Just be careful. Like if you do something like that, it's gonna start to break. So then I would give it a bit more. It has to be something maybe like that. But then look at the poly count as well. Like the poly count there is now 2,300 triangles. Yeah. So the next part that you should do is you need some taper. So towards the end, it closes to be a little bit narrower. So this is where you go taper in here. This is where you can make it a little bit smaller. And maybe you need to cap that by hand. Or you could potentially just merge all of those guys together in the end if you want. And that's it. This is how you got your funky donkey vine. And that what's really cool is like, yeah, you can just go in here, control the vertex, and move that back and forward, or do some funky donkey things, like move that there, whatever you want. But yeah, if you're gonna do this with rigging for your character, yeah, this is really good. So you can also, with this, you can also do things like leaves and vegetation and stuff like that as well, which is really, really cool. But that's a tutorial for another day. Okay. This is 12 minutes long, so I'll stop here, and thank you so much.